It's Calvin Harris, Sam Smith, Promises on MKFM for that Callum Scott and Dancing on My Own. Hello, it's Leah with you on the MKFM lunch break. Today, joined by Marion Turner, who is the founder of Grandpart. Hello, Marion.
Hello, Leah.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Ready for Christmas?
Getting
Sort
of.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Kind of starting, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, today you're here to talk all about Grandpart, which is a support group, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
So a support group for grandparents.
Yes, it's for grandparents that are denied access to their grandchildren for a variation of reasons.
Okay, and how can those reasons vary? I mean, I suppose you must have so many different kind of cases.
Yeah, it can be from controlling daughter-in-laws down to maybe parents that have got either alcohol problems or drug issues, which are a little bit more serious, so their grandchildren could be taken into care or fostered or even adopted.
So as a support group, how does it kind of work? Is it if somebody's, maybe listening to this now and thinks, I'm struggling to see my grandchildren, do they get in touch with you directly, and then is there regular meetups? How does it work?
Yes, I've got a website they can go on to. We meet monthly in Milton Keynes and also in Northampton. Basically, we just all meet up, and because we're all in the same situation, people find it easier to talk to someone that's going through the same issues as they are going through. And we just have tea and cake, basically, and just chat. And then we've got a lot of outside support. So if they do have to go down the court route, then we've got solicitors that come along and give advice. And we've got MPs that are also fighting in Parliament to try and get the family laws amended, just to make the court's steps a little bit easier.
And we've actually got one of the solicitors that helps you out with us today. You've actually got an army of people today in the studio. So we're going to be speaking to a few of the members of Grandpart and also the solicitor Tina as well very shortly. But give us a bit more detail about how Grandpart was formed. How long have you been going for?
It's been going for 3.5 years now. I started my Milton Keynes group when I became one of those grandparents, and that was just through a breakdown in the relationship with my son and his then wife. It was a very controlling and hostile relationship that we had, which I found I suffered for a year, which was the first year of my grandson's when he was born. But in the end, I decided I couldn't cope with it anymore, so it was my decision to walk away. And then I was trying to find a group that I could go along and talk to, and there wasn't one. So that's how Grandpart was formed. I started my own.
Wow, well done you. We're going to find out a few more details about it and also hear from Tina, who's one of the solicitors that helps to support the group, after James, Arthur and Anne-Marie now. This is Rewrite the Stars on MKFM. Still loving that from James, Arthur and Anne-Marie. It's Rewrite the Stars on MKFM. This lunchtime joined by everybody from Grandpart. It feels like we've got a whole army here, Marion. Marion's the founder. We've just heard about how Grandpart kind of started 3.5 years ago, wasn't it, Marion?
Yes. Yeah.
And we're joined now by, we've got two Tinas in the studio. So this is Tina 1. Hello, Tina 1.
Hello.
Hello. So what's your kind of role in Grandpart?
So I'm a family solicitor. I first became involved with Grandpart when I had a client come to my firm who needed support and couldn't really go down the legal route because of, issues with affordability. And also, the legal process isn't for everyone. It can make things more acrimonious. It can make things harder and actually damage relationships further going to court. And that's not always what people want. So I managed to find Marion through that client, and since then I've been supporting her as much as I can with, what she does, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And I've gone along to meetings and spoken to people and just helped out in that way.
And I suppose, as you said, it's such a difficult thing dealing with, family issues and then having to go and down that legal route, like you were saying, it can be, really, really difficult for people.
Yeah, the process isn't easy. It's not made easy by the laws that are in place for grandparents. There's no automatic right for grandparents to have access to their grandchildren.
Right. We'll carry on. If you can hear this noise in the background, it's just Into Shopping Centre giving us a bit of an update. Don't worry about it. Carry on, Tina.
Yeah, so I was saying there's no automatic right for grandparents to have access to their grandchildren. So there are a number of hoops that you've got to jump through. You know, first you need to show that you've attempted mediation, which isn't for everybody. Then you need to first apply for permission from the court to make an application to court. And all of that costs money. It's not a free process. Legal aid isn't available anymore. So it's difficult. And that's why I try to give as much support as I can, really.
So you'll maybe go along to some of the support groups and be, there to talk to and give advice when people might need it, when they're going through those difficult situations. Yeah,
absolutely. And the firm that I work for, Gilroy Steel, we're based in Buckingham, Northampton and Brackley. So Marion has she has meetings in Milton Keynes and Northampton, so we're available. We're close by if people need that support and advice.
And really important, isn't it, Marion, for you to be able to kind of point people in the right direction and have a solicitor kind of on board?
Absolutely, because I don't know anything about that side of it at all. So yeah, you just need someone there. And Tina's always either on the other end of the phone, or I can send her an email, and she's really good, and she'll always help as much as she possibly can, which is invaluable.
Definitely. Well, thank you for your time today, Tina.
That's okay.
We're going to be speaking to Tina too very shortly, and also Helen, who are both members of Grandpart. We'll be speaking to them after something a little bit Christmassy. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas plays for you next. It's got to be the best Christmas song of all time, surely. Mariah Carey, All On For Christmas on MKFM. It is the MKFM lunch break. Hello, Leah with you, and we're joined by Grandpart this lunchtime, finding all about the support group here in Milton Keynes. And we're actually joined now by Helen and Tina too, who are members of Grandpart. And we want to find out a little bit about, your experience. So how has, Grandpart helped you?
Well, it helped me a lot because I was so upset at not seeing my grandson, and then I saw an advert in a council pamphlet of Marion, and I plucked up the courage to phone her, and it went on from there. And it's helped a lot, because when you're going through heartbreak and then you meet all these other people that are going through the same, it really helps. She's got a box of tissues there so we can all cry and
talk about your experiences. I do see my
grandson now, but I still come to the group to say miracles do happen,
That's fantastic.
But it helped me a lot.
It did help you having that kind of support. And what about you, Helen?
Yeah, very much the same. I think it's just nice to know that there are people out there that are going through what you're going through. I didn't see my grandchildren for 6.5 years, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. And I think all the people that go to our group have really heartbreaking stories. And it's just so nice to be able to talk to people that know what you're talking about. Because when it first happens, you just can't believe it. And you feel like you're the only one that's going through it. Because
there isn't really that much, there's support groups like Grandpart, but, in the law, I know Marion was saying that you've got, local MPs that are kind of debating for new laws in Parliament, but there isn't that much support for grandparents, is there?
No.
To see grandchildren.
No, there's nothing. I can remember going to see somebody, a solicitor, very early on, and I was just drowning, literally. I think you need something or somebody or some people that are there to help you.
And I suppose the benefit, we'd heard from Tina the solicitor, that it's great to have that kind of official advice as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely.
Great. Well, it's so lovely to hear from you and hear, that you're now seeing your grandchildren and that Grandpart have been such a huge support for you. If you have been affected by, something similar to Tina or Helen, we're going to give you all the details that you need to know on how you can get in touch with Grandpart and maybe join their support group after Jonas Blue and Liam Payne now. This is Polaroid on MKFM. Still loving that from Jonas Blue and Liam Payne. It's Polaroid on MKFM. This lunch break, joined by Grandpart, finding all about the support group for grandparents. And we're now speaking to Marion again, who is the founder of Grandpart. So we've heard about, the great benefits of, some of the members from coming along to Grandpart and how the support group has really helped. Interestingly, we were just talking off air about the common misconception that grandparents can't see their grandchildren because maybe the parents have got divorced. But actually, that's not the case, is it?
No, mine was the exact opposite. Once my son and his then wife got divorced, it actually made it easier for me to see my grandson because she wasn't on the scene. But having said that, I think you have to remember that when you lose your grandchild, you lose your son or your daughter as well. So it actually took me about 2.5 years to get my bond back with my son because I didn't actually like him very much. I mean, you still love them, but because of the way he treated me. But once I'd got my bond back with my son, that made it easier then for me to try and build my relationship with my grandson because he was only a year old when I walked away and he's nearly 6 now. So I think it's taken me about another 2 years to build my relationship with my grandson. I'm still not sure he knows who I am. But when parents split up as well and you've got so many grandparents, just to miss out on one, it doesn't affect them at all because they've got other grandparents. So it's usually the grandparent that doesn't see them, obviously, that get the bad end of the deal. So yeah, it's all a bit daunting, really.
But I suppose it's really important we've spoken quite a lot from the grandparents' perspective today, but actually there are lots of studies. We were just talking to Tina, the solicitor, who was saying, there's lots of studies that say that there are so many positive benefits to the child for having a grandparent. Definitely.
Grandchildren get a lot of joy out of seeing grandparents, and, we're quite streetwise at our age and we've got a lot to offer. Plus, I think we've got a lot more patience, but we can hand them back. So after a couple of hours, you can not spoil them, but you've got more time to spend with them, and it's quality time.
It's a very special relationship that you have with your grandparents.
Definitely. Yeah, especially in most cases when you've only got one grandchild. Some that have got more, it does alleviate the pressure a little bit, but some of them that have only got that one grandchild that they can't ever see and possibly never see, is actually very heartbreaking.
Definitely. Well, if people find themselves in exactly that situation, Marion, and they want to maybe come to your support group for, that help and support network, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, I've got a website, which is grandpart.co.uk. All the meeting dates are listed on there and the venues. I've also got an email, which is marion.turner@grandpart.co.uk. Or if you're brave enough to pick the phone up, because I know how hard it is. One of my ladies, it took her months just to pick the phone up, so I know how hard it is. But if you want to give me a call, I'll give you my mobile number, which is 078 421 46637. But also on the 28th of January at the Milton Keynes one in Shenley, we are going to do a slightly different meeting. It's going to be a lot more relaxed. So because it's really hard picking the phone up, but it's even harder walking through the door.
Definitely.
Because you don't know who's going to be there. You're very aware. You think you're the only one, so it's quite daunting. And if you want to come along and you don't even have to say anything. You can just sit down, talk to someone else, just make friends, and you'll be surprised how much better you would feel at the end of it.
So remind us of the date that's happening.
That is on the 28th of January, and I think it's a Monday. And that's at our Shenley meeting.
And all of the details can be found on your website, grandpart.co.uk. Thank you so much for coming in today, Marion. Really, really valuable hearing about Grandpart and the great kind of support network that you provide here in Milton Keynes.
Thank you.
And we will be uploading this interview as a podcast to our website. If you want to hear some of the interview again, it'll be at mkfm.com. Stay right there. Jess Glynn and All I Am plays for you next.